I'm going to show you how to precision sharpen your chain for your chainsaw. Coming up next in this video. So if you're new to using your chainsaw and like me, when I first started using it, I was cutting away and going, man, this just cuts like butter. And then a couple days later, I'm cutting. It's like, man, it's taking me 30 minutes to cut through a 4-inch branch. What is wrong? And I'm thinking that the chain will stay sharp for a long time. But you know what? The reality of things is the chain on your chainsaw gets dull very fast. And you need to sharpen it almost after every use, depending on, if you're just cutting one tree branch down, then you're probably fine. But it really needs to be sharpened after every use. What I'm going to show you in this video is how to sharpen your chain on your chainsaw with precision, so that you're doing it at the right angle, taking the right amount off. And the best way that I found is by using this Granberg 12-volt sharpener. They have a manual one here, which I'll show you also, that you don't have to hook up to power. This one works, okay, but it's still not as good as this. So let me run you through this of what it is and how it works, and we'll go from there. Okay, so what we have here is the Granberg chainsaw sharpener. It's a precision sharpener, and when I say precision, I mean unlike the rake file here, when you run your file across the blade, you have to make sure that you're at the exact same angle. And as you're pushing, you tend to twist a little bit or go down a little bit too far. And if you keep doing that over time, pretty soon your teeth on your blade on your chain here will slowly start to kind of get out of whack. Of course, what everyone should do after a certain period of time is take it into a dealer, and we have a place locally, and they charge $12 to sharpen your chainsaw so that it's almost brand new. And then basically that just lines everything back up again and gets everything straight. So I recommend that no matter what chain sharpener you use. But this guy here, this is a model G1012XT precision grinder. And basically, I'll show you how it hooks up to the saw here in a second. But it has this guide that basically guides this grinding bit here, so that every time that you run it through, it just keeps that exact same angle. And you'll see that here, coming up. It's 12 volts. And it has some alligator clips that basically clip onto your car battery if you're out in the field. For me, I don't really need to take this out in the field because all the work that I do is just on my property here. So I'm not in a, I don't need to have to get this sharpened, just quickly on the spot. I'll work, a few hours in the day, and then come in and when I'm done, end up sharpening it. So anyway, let me show you how this connects to the saw. It comes with these directions, and these directions suck. Let me tell you, they got 3 photos to show you, how this. I guess they got some more over here, but it's just horrible on trying to explain how it connects. So. Anyway, you kind of have to troubleshoot it yourself. So I thought, I'll do this video, maybe help some other people out so they don't struggle as much as I did trying to get this going. Basically, you have a thumb screw. You have a thumb screw here, and you have these 2 Allen set screws, one on this side and one on this side. And basically, they keep pressure on these little tabs here. So it's pretty simple to set up. You have your bar here. You take it onto here like so, and basically this brass fittings just needs to sit down so that they are just on top of this chain. When you pull this through, you want the chain to not bind up. So the first thing that you want to do is tighten the thumb screw up. Once you get it close to the area that you think, so that this is lined up. You tighten that up. That basically tightens it up that way. What I like to do is find the first link. So this would be this one has the space in it, and the hardest part about this is getting this lined up. It may take a couple minutes to make sure that when this grinding stone goes through, that you're not taking off too much and you're at the right angle. And there's several adjustments on this in order to do that. You have the top part here, which is the up and down adjustment, and if you look closely here, when I turn this, you can see that it raises up, and you adjust it so that it just fits into that sweet spot of that tooth right there. And then the other important thing is on top is your dial, and it has these little increments that are on here, and mine is set to 30 degrees. So here's the box. Paid $20 for this chain. It was I think a refurbished one, but on the back of it is a chart, and it basically tells you the depth of the I think it's called the raker. It tells you what the angle is. Mine's a 30 degree, which shows here, and it also tells you what file sizes that you need. So the next thing you do is make sure that this is pulled all the way back against the stopper, and then you adjust. Now that you've got this, then you adjust the this guy here, which you turn it in. Well, actually, I want to pull it out. So it needs to come out a little bit. A little bit more. Now that we have that set, make sure everything's tight. You don't want to over tighten the Allen screws on each side. We'll try that. Advance it. You have to skip a tooth. Alright, once you get done with one side, then it's a matter of flipping it over. So you set it at, there's 35, there's 30 degrees right there. Move this out of the way. Adjust some things a little bit here. So you have a little bit of adjusting that you need to do on this. Make sure that that chain is back all the way. Once you've done this a few times, you can do it pretty quickly. It's taken me a little while because I'm dealing with the cameras here. I'm trying not to bump into them. So this one here, I'm just hitting a little too much, and just thumb screw a little bit. Yeah, I'm getting closer. You just want it just barely touching that tooth, and that feels not too bad. So the other thing too is you want to make sure that your up and down is good. So I'm going to raise it up a little bit by this screw here, up a little bit like that, and we should be good to go just like that. So flip it on. Basically, you go through the whole chain, that same process. Alright, so the next thing that you want to do is adjust the rake here so that it is the right depth. Once again, on your box, it will say you know, how deep that needs to go. Mine is a 25 thousandths of an inch down. So the first thing we want to do is we'll flip this up out of the way and move this at a 90-degree angle. So we'll move it at 90, and then we're going to want to adjust this stone so that it is just touching the top of the tooth. So we'll come over here. Closer. 2,500? 25 thousandths of an inch. 2,500 lower than the top of the tooth. So what I want to do is I want to lower this 2.5 notches. So raising is that way, lowering is this way. So I'm going to want to turn it 1, 2.5, and that should be the depth of where I need to grind for the rake. Sure, zoomed in there. Use this here as a protector to make sure that you protect your tooth there. So if you advance that and you can tilt it back, that way. The other thing too is I have the stop up here, which if this is back here far enough, it'll keep me from hitting that down there. So you just keep that in line and then come in and knock that down. That's the best way to go about doing that. And you advance it just to back far enough, and then you knock that tooth down. So we'll go at it a little bit more here. Alright, we've gone through all the teeth and we should be good to go. Once you're done, basically, it's pretty simple. Loosen up these Allen screws a little bit, take the thumb screw, lift it off, and you're good to go. The non-motor one is basically the same exact setup, and I'll show you really quickly on how that's set up. So let me flip this angle around the other direction at 35. That's wrong angle. Right there. Tighten that up. Basically it slips on like this so. Tighten the thumb screw. Make sure that the bar can slide across. You adjust the height. Right now I'm a little low. Raise it up so that this guy just sits into that sweet spot. Take this one in a little bit. And you, just like with any file, you the handle is over here, so you want to when you're pulling, which is actually pulling that direction, that's where you want to apply the force. The next one. And once you start doing this, you can kind of hear whether or not you're taking off, enough, and that's where you do your adjustments. So like I'm just hearing there, I feel like I could go in just a hair more. Cleans it up, adjust it to the next one. So since I've already sharpened it, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. But that's basically how the manual one, you know, operates. So it's not any quicker. In fact, the motor one is a little quicker because you saw how I was able to just glide in. This one is a little bit more cumbersome, but you know, you don't need a 12-volt battery to do it. You know, taking it off exactly the same way. Take it off, and you're good to go. So there you go. That's pretty much my summary of the Granberg precision grinder. You know, I'm a newbie to chainsawing, so I'm learning myself. And you know, professionals, I'm sure if you talk to someone who sharpens their chainsaws all the time, they'll say, you know, this is all I ever need, and it's been working for me forever. But since I'm new, and maybe I'm not as experienced at using this, and I'm not under the gun for time. I'm not out in the woods, you know, cutting a whole, you know, bunch of wood down, you know, on a timeline. When I bring my chainsaw back, you know, I'm cutting 1 or 2, 3 cheap trees, you know, when I'm out there. When I come back to the shop, you know, I got plenty of time. So this here, I know that my angle is going to be correct. I know I'm not going to be, you know, grinding at the wrong angle, and you know, maybe wearing the blade of my chain a little off. So this just gets me, you know, I know that it's being done correctly.